Hey there, Samuel. How are you?
Not too bad, Coach. How you doing?
Good, good. I've been wanting to have this conversation for a while. Why? Because a lot of things you and I have in common. One, you served in the military. My father served in the military. We both happen to love running, and we love our shoes. And since I've gotten the opportunity to know you over the past 2 years thereabouts, and then work with you as in a coach-athlete partnership, you really do love your freaking shoes, dude,
Yes, I
in the best way possible. And it's good to see the variation and how you've expanded your shoe inventory from when we first started working together. You've experimented with a couple of different brands, and I'm interested in you sharing your opinion on maybe some of the brand and maybe models you started out running in. And then as
okay.
you started running longer distances, when you started running in your first few timed races, getting through your very first marathon in Austin of this year, when I got a chance to meet you for the first time in person in February. And now we're staring your second marathon in the face on Saturday, the 3rd of December. So
Yes,
couldn't
sir.
be happier for you. Let's talk all things shoes, all from your
Sure.
perspective. Samuel Pappas. So what when you first started running, maybe give our audience who maybe didn't have the good fortune to listen to your RaceMob podcast, your running history and kind of what shoes you migrated into and why.
About my running history is less than 3 years. What I originally started off with was the Asics, and that kind of progressed. For you that don't know that, I have had both my hips replaced, so I was kind of looking for comfort and quality and cost. So I originally started off with the Asics, and then after a few months, I did progress to the Hokas because they had a lot of additional cushioning. So what I did with originally especially when I first started talking with Bertrand and Kevin Chang, was I was doing the Bondi sevens because of the cushion and the impact on my knees and my hips. And
And
the Bondi,
Sam, how did those shoes get on your radar? Because you started, like you said, in the Asics. How were you introduced into the Hoka brand?
actually, I went to one of the local running stores and I explained my situation, and he said, he gave me a couple of options, and I tried some different shoes on, and the Hokas just had the additional comfort. And I did a little test run on the treadmill and inside the store, and the Hokas really provided the impact as far as the hips and knees go.
So it gave you a little bit, they felt more
They
cushion,
felt very
maybe.
comfortable, and I really did not have any issues, for especially with my hips being replaced for the short run of it.
Good, good. And show and tell.
Okay.
What did some
Well, I
of those
still
what did
have
you
one of my original pairs still in a box of the Hoka Bondi sevens. I actually did one of my very first virtual runs with Kevin and yourself. I actually emailed Kevin, but these are one of the original pairs. I did my virtual run. I believe it was only a 10K, but these are the Bondi sevens right here.
what year would you say?
This was 2020,
Okay.
which is basically, if you look at my podcast, you will understand that I was doing treadmill until COVID hit. Then I started doing the street. So I actually started running in March of 2020.
March of 2020.
Actually
Got it.
running.
Yeah.
But
And what
these
did you
are
like
these are
most
those shoes.
about those shoes, Sam?
Say again.
What did you like most about that particular
Um,
shoe?
the comfort, and like I said, the recovery time as far as the impact. They made my hips feel really good. I didn't not have a lot of pain or anything like that with the Hokas. And in the last year and a half that I've been running under your tutelage, the biggest thing when you hit 10 to, especially with the 14-mile mark, was, I'm going to use this pair, was right here in my foot. Me personally was right here, and the ball of my foot on the left and right side with the other shoe was I was starting to have a lot of pain right in here on my foot. I'm not dogging the shoe, but that was the pain that I was starting having after 10 plus miles.
And what do you think that was all about, Sam? From your,
And you know what? I really don't know. And that's why I just got to experiment with different shoes and just try for as an individual for myself was just try different shoes and see, if you, when you do it enough, just how you feel. Because we're all individuals and we're all different. We might have 8.5, 9, 9.5 shoes. We just got to try different brands and see how they feel. And these are the shoes that I ran with Bertrand and
Rebecca.
These are the Carbon X that I ran with in Austin, my first marathon, which they worked fantastic. I was able to finish, not, stellar or anything like that. And the one thing I can say about the Hokas, they got me where I'm going. They definitely put me over that point. So my congrats to Hokas, and they are a fantastic shoe. But for me personally, when you start going over your long runs, I started having a lot of foot discomfort. I started having a lot of corns and a lot of, especially on the side of my feet and the balls of my feet, I started having discomfort.
And from there, look to mix things up and test out another brand. And
Yes.
what was that brand, and how has that brand or brands treated you so far?
I switched to the Nikes by different people telling me different things about the Vaporflies, coach. And the Vaporflies have done me wonders. And can I break out my pair of them?
Yeah, of course. And I will say for all of our listeners, this is a unsponsored.
This is just an individual.
Yep. Even though I'm wearing a shirt that has it's a Nike shirt, that they have no say. This are unfiltered, unbiased opinion directly from a blue collar runner.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And these are the vapor or the Vaporflies that I've got several pair. Too many to my wife's discomfort. But with these, and I just wore these on my run this morning, and these especially with my physical condition, I don't want to keep reiterating, but my hips replaced with this part right here, because I'm a midfoot striker, this really absorbs a chunk of the impact on my legs, especially my hips. So my recovery time and my discomfort is extremely minimal. So I love these right now.
Now, Sam, was it obvious when you switched from some of the previous Hoka models to when you got those Vaporflies? Was it a subtle or immediate
it was
difference in performance and how your body felt during and post run?
It was fantastic. My times have increased and my recovery times is better. I'm much better.
Times increased, meaning you got slower or increased?
I got faster and was able to go longer.
Okay, so the opposite.
Okay, and again, this is a individual, just me, but they've been very, very good for me thus far.
Good.
So I really love the Nikes.
Is there anything maybe from a wear and tear, durability, any drawbacks or areas of opportunity about that particular shoe that you like? It's a great shoe. It's help. I feel better. I'm running faster. I'm running longer. But
actually, the only complaint, I wouldn't even say a complaint, but it's the mileage wise, as far as 250 to 300 miles, then you probably need another pair. That's what I've experienced.
Right. And as you hinted or referenced, you have several pair of those shoes.
14.
Okay. And are you able to, that's not a cheap shoe, but are you buying directly from the brand, or are you using a secondary source? Are you able to find some discounts?
Mainly the cheapest that I found, I've gotten a couple pair off eBay, and the other shoes that I got come off the Nike site itself.
Okay.
I have done a couple pairs through Running Warehouse, and the other pairs they are cheaper for myself. When I've looked at it, was actually through Nike.
Oh, okay, good.
So a couple of the pair that I have gotten off eBay, they're certified, but the top of the box is missing. So I don't really care about that. Maybe that's for collectors, but That blue pair I just showed is actually from eBay, and it was extremely cheap because the top of the box was missing because it was a display model. But I'll take it for 124 bucks.
Oh, good. Good. Thank you for sharing. What else do you have in your shoe repertoire? What do you think you will be wearing? And let people know what marathon you're going to be running in on Saturday, the 3rd of December, its location, how your training has been going, and what is going to be your race day marathon shoe, Sam?
My race day marathon will be the Alpha Flies, and I'll get the box right here. Excuse me. But these are the Nike Alphas right here. It comes in a real cool box. And these are brand new, but I do have one pair that's broken in because I got these roughly at the same time. But these are the Alphas right here.
Oh, look at those bad boys. Yeah.
So, and I have done very well in these. My half marathon. I did not wear. I'm going to wear these for the first time in my full marathon, my second full marathon week from this Saturday. But these are fantastic, and I've done some of my best times in these for my long runs.
And how do they feel different from the Vapor Flies, and how do they feel different from the Hokas you showed us earlier in our conversation?
Well, the big difference that I use the aftershocks, headphones and stuff. The only thing when I'm not wearing the aftershocks, they're a little bit thumpy, I guess you'd call it. So you can really hear them when especially because I mainly run alone. So that's the only thing I notice is you really hear the clop. The clopping, the thump, thump, thump.
Yeah.
You can hear that more, but when you're in a race, you really don't care about that.
And from can you articulate the difference between that Alpha Fly and the Hokas that you originally showed us, and then where it's different outside of, performance wise?
The biggest thing that I feel from the Hoka is my foot comfort, and like the way I feel the post run. I feel better. I don't have as much pain, especially in my hips, and they're just a good shoe for myself.
Okay, all right.
They're a very good shoe for myself.
Sam, in some circles, you would be considered still a relatively new runner since you started in 2020 thereabouts.
Right.
You went from running on your own, becoming a member of the RaceMob and Too Legit Fitness community. You shared your story with us. We recorded a podcast, had the good fortune meeting in Austin earlier this year, was able to get some quality miles in with you during your first marathon. Congratulations on that marathon finish.
Oh,
you've PR'd every single distance this year from 1 mile up into half marathon, and will likely, knock on wood, knock, knock, have a shot of getting a new marathon PR in just over a week or week and a half or thereabouts.
Right.
What advice could you give someone who's just getting into running and trying to figure out, there's so many different models of shoes. How could you make someone's entry point a little bit easier based on your own experience?
On my own experience, of course, I got upset when I had to pay over 60 bucks for a pair of shoes with the Asics and stuff because I said they're tennis shoes. That's when I first started. But like I said, I experiment with different models, and it's just, it's an individual thing, how you feel and how you feel afterwards, pre and post run. Are they tearing your feet up? Are your toenails falling off? Are you bleeding in between your toes? And that's not a good thing as far as I'm concerned, because I just want comfort, especially, and with myself, when you hit, 10, 12 miles, especially with myself, with the ball in my feet and the toes, how do you feel? And for people that are just starting off, if you're doing under a 10K or anything like that, probably maybe Asics or a different brand might be okay. But when you start extending that mileage, then you might want to start looking at, well, how am I going to feel? How's it impacting my legs? How's it impacting my hips? How's it impacting my back? So I will give my advice is that you're just going to have to try it out and see what happens. Good. And then you make a switch. And just recently, this week, I have not worn my New Balance, but at a suggestion of a very special person in my life, I did go to the New Balance trainers, and they have worked great. But once I got over probably 150 miles in them, I started having my left Achilles, a little bit of problems with it. And I do have those here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see those.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
These are the New Balance trainers. To me, they are, I wouldn't say much heavier, but these are a heavier shoe, which I do like, because when you put on the Vapors or the Alphas, it's just like you're wearing, socks. But these are an excellent trainer. But for me personally, and especially right in here, when I was in Tennessee not long ago visiting family, and I would go from pavement to gravel, you will pick up big rocks here.
Okay.
And then you think, well, is my soul falling apart or whatever? But then I had to stop and pull rocks out of this part.
Right.
But for a road shoe, it's excellent. But for myself as an individual, I did start having the left Achilles problems with these shoes after I broke 100 miles on them.
Okay. Yep.
So it's all an individual. It's all individual.
Since we're talking about footwear, and before we wrap up, Sam, and we'd love to have you back in the future. Again, this is our first conversation, and we'll have more with athletes. Some of you who are listening right now and sharing what's in your shoe inventory, what you like and why. Not supported by any brand. We will have some shoe professionals, i.e. smaller mom and pop running stores, give their feedback as well from a professional standpoint, even giving some running form advice, et cetera, et cetera. But Sam, in regards to like socks, or when you do have issues with blisters, how you have treated in the past with foot care before we wrap up.
Okay, with the one thing is, I went with the Adidas and the different socks, but my godsend to me personally has been Bagella socks. And when I do my long runs, I have got several pair of the blister resistant Bagellas. If I'm going to go, 15 plus miles, it's just better on my feet. And when just before Austin, that entire time until my Austin Marathon, I was wearing the compression socks, and it created a lot of, not blisters, but I had a big corn problem with my feet, my toes. Since I switched to Bagellas with the non-compression, I have not had that problem whatsoever.
Good.
And again, I'm speaking as an individual.
Right.
Results may vary, but with the Bagellas, those are my go-to socks.
And just so our audience can get an idea on your activity level, Sam, I'll ask some questions. You could just, fill in the blanks. How many days a week do you typically run?
6 days a week.
6 days a week. Do you do any cross training?
Yes, I do it. Three right now, 3 days a week, or it used to be every other day.
Well, people who are watching could see, like, damn, this dude is in shape. Of course, he does some cross training. Very consistent. What have you learned most about the importance of race day, especially at the longer distance, half marathon and marathon, nutrition before we wrap up?
Oh, really cutting back to lean meat. I eat meat, but a lot of vegetables, salads, and lean meat, especially 7 days before a race day. Good. And then I kind of purge myself, a couple of days before race day, because on race days, I've never had to take a bathroom break.
Okay.
Including the marathon.
Right. Well, we wish you nothing but the best on your upcoming marathon in Florida on the 3rd of December.
And then Nashville.
Yep. And Nashville in April of 2023.
Yep.
Marathon number 3 in Music City. So all the best, Sam. Thank you for your service. And we just recently had Veterans Day, and we appreciate you making time for our audience. Take care, man.
Thank you very much, Bertrand.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.